Good morning. Good morning. Morning. I'm going to talk about something really. For my Facebook people, I got my YouTube people over here. What I want to talk about this morning, though, is turning your mistakes into a success. What that is we all make mistakes. We're human. And last night I was on a radio interview. I didn't want to be on there as long as I was or give as much information as I did. But catch me at the right time, I'll talk you to death. And on there, we were talking about different aspects of life in general and how people make mistakes. And it's in our society today, it's hard to recover from those mistakes. And whether you're in business or it's personal or, it's a money mistake or it is a mistake made by in love. A mistake is something that you have done that wasn't in the plan and sent things array. What a lot of people do when they make these mistakes, a state of, I would say, confusion and despair. What you need is stop and analyze the mistake, and then look at the ways that the mistakes can be. And the guitar always be correctly, always. So, what I would like to talk about isn't necessarily people making mistakes, because we're human. That's what we do. What I'd like to talk about is the fact that we are capable of correcting those mistakes. So let's talk about something that I've gone through, and I always talk from the top of my head. I always speak about my life in general, things I've gone through that would help project enlightenment to you. And so, I've been working on the Mother of Earth Festival. Like I said, I was on the radio last night with the OG Mac Drama and Power Talk Radio. And was talking with one of the producers for the game and some of his new artists and Pikachu. And, we all were talking about an array of stuff. I found it really interesting how we kept approaching these life issues. So one of the things that I was talking about was the fact that, I've been working on the Mother of Earth Peace and Love Festival. And it's a really big project. It's definitely by far the largest project I've ever done on my own. And I hired some of the best festival producers in the world to help me do this. They're the same guys that work with the Rourke Slide, the Alapalooza, the EDC, the Burning Man. They're the same guys that help pull those together. And I want that level of festival. I want that type of following, a million people, coming together in peace and love and just having a good time. So in that, I working with the Black Arts Festival here in Toronto, Black Arts Festival. Over the years, there's always rented the land that they do the festival on. And it's always been just a large headache. Fines, but they decide, I'm going to buy the property so that we can do what we want to do. And we can areas where people can just completely have fun and have areas where people can, just an adult area where adults can be, no children, and have an area strictly for children where there's no adults except for the people that are taking your children to the property, and just make it something that was just unique and only for the United States, and that the rest of the country, like how we travel out to these other festivals, the rest of the world would travel to us. So I had looked at like hundreds of properties, and I decided on Arizona because in the winter, Arizona is great. I love the flow. You know, it still has a very laid back feel, but you know, they're on point. They have great networking, have great business. There's a lot of things about Arizona I do like with any state. You know, they all have their pros and cons. For me, Arizona was probably the best place. I like it warm. So, you know, I narrowed it down to two properties, got my investors. Um, One of the realtors just she's friendly, but she moved interestingly different. And so the board of directors and the investors started mistrusting her, thinking that she was hiding something. And I was pleading with them to stick with plan A. Let's buy the property that she has and buy the second one after the festival for the Dreamweaver Foundation. Everybody on the board and all the investors voted against me. And because this wasn't my money, we went with plan B. Well, you know, I went down to Arizona recently. We were rezoning the property, and it came up that Luke Air Force Base can tell me what I can and can't do on my private property because we're in the accident zone. The paperwork I got did not say that. It said that we're in that accident zone level 2 and what we can and can't build. It said nothing about people can't spend the night on the property. We can't have tents. We can't do festivals. None of that stuff. But after fighting with it, I was like, the shortest way to get back on track is to go back to plan A. Buy their original property. So under kind of have been working with it. And yes, an issue arose last night, but that property that I have to contact the city for, but it's definitely going to happen. So if nothing more than just this first year. So the said to stick with plan A, buy the property we're looking at. Everything was fine. We could have bought this other property later, and we probably would have found out about the loop thing. We went to do it because we had time. You know, you have X amount of time to get a festival going. And, you know, I have to get the crew going. They're supposed to be starting at the end of October. So, you know, I'm going to close on this property in October 11th. And the crew that start on the end of October, and we start instantly because we're a month behind. Getting the promotions out, getting the new sponsors, getting the sponsors back on board, and all this stuff. So, the shortest way for me to correct that mistake was to say the easiest way to get this fixed is not trying to deal with Luke Air Force Base and, you know, the city and trying to get what we want done on this property. This is something that can sit in the background. And yes, it was a large amount of our property investment monies and a large amount of funds. And they just hit us again yesterday with the taxes for the property. So I mean, when I say a mistake, this was a major. I'm talking about almost a $300,000 mistake. Okay, my business partner is in complete panic. And I mean, a small amount of money. We're talking about a lot of money. And so she's in a complete state of panic. And I'm like, you know what? It's going to cost us more to fix it. But we need to fix it because the end result is to do this festival. And I think it'd be paid time to finish working with our lawyers and dealing with this Luke Air Force Base situation. So now I got the other property under contract, and yes, off on this due diligence, and apparently somewhere along the lines, the city decided that my easement on the new property is no longer a viable easement, and I need to create a new easement. So we're working with the city on that. But the important thing was I took our $300,000 mistake, and I'm trying to turn it around so that it actually becomes a $300,000 asset. Um, because of the situation with this other property that we do own currently. Um, we're talking about building a multi-level 22-room mansion on it using K. Welch Homes, and then selling the property with a 30-acre backyard. So, which Luke said we can do that. So, you know, I call that a turnaround because, yeah, we're going to sell it for like 70 million. But, you gotta find those little moments that make you happy. Take a breath and realize that, hey, phew, there is no easy way out of it. There's no there's no simple way out of it. You just got to go back and fix it, and you have to figure out what's the best possible way to correct this action. And when you're doing that, you'll start seeing that you can create opportunities to turn this mistake, in my case, a $300,000 mistake, is still costing me thousands of dollars each month, into a multi-million-dollar success story, and that's the whole thing. The property is absolutely beautiful. So putting $1 million home on it with 22 rooms and the pool and all that, and then turn around selling it for 7 million. Stuff, or just lights that light, being out in nature, but so close to the city, you're only 15 minutes away from the city. Listening to a lot of people talking about the mistakes they being younger, being in gangs and stuff like that. Even I was talking about it, and some of the successes that came from it and how we came about those successes. And Power Talk just hit me up right before I went live and said that they have a copy of the radio show for $300,000 mistakes, and didn't know how to correct it because other people weren't willing to give them the chance to correct it. One young man had a rough life, tattoos in the face, and having a hard time getting a job. And the Mother Earth Festival will have people there like that who really are trying to change their lives to come and work for us because they need that opportunity to build up a new resume, to build up a new life. And in our society today, we're not that forgiving. We're not willing to give people a chance. We're not even willing to take a chance on people. And I don't want to be that person ever. I always want to take a chance on people and give them the benefit of the doubt. And even for me, that's hard. That's not an easy thing to the entertainment industry. I work in the community, so I'm working with like the hardest people to work with. People who just are on the wrong mindset. Trying to help them get back on the right mindset, and they keep getting pulled back into the wrong one. There's a lot of people making mistakes in their lives. And whether it's business and love or personal, we all make them. What you have to do is sit down, evaluate the mistake, and figure out a plan, a pathway to correct it, move from it, and move on. Those are the 3 keys of correcting a mistake. Correct it. Oh, analyze it. Sorry, I'm the wrong chapter. Analyze it. The action, execution, meaning once it's done, it's done. If it's a mistake that you did to somebody else, you hurt somebody else's feelings. If you realize the mistake, you analyze what was done and how you can possibly try to correct it, and you make every attempt to correct it and genuinely correct it, and the other person is not forgiving of that, forget about it. You've done what you're supposed to do. Move on. Either they'll forgive you later on or they won't. But as long as you genuinely examine the mistake, took action, which is saying, hey, I made a mistake, I need to correct this, and you took those actions, and then you executed that plan. If it's to somebody else or to something, you've done all that you could to genuinely correct it, you move on afterwards. You move on, and that's to release you from that, so that you can move forwards in your life. And for me, you know, I moved on. I'm on to the other property. Let's try to deal with this property, get this festival going, and I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that when I have time to deal with it. When I have time to, I keep jumping between two cameras. When I have time to sit down and really research all this case law, waiting on the United States Defense Department to con- uh, reply to me. They've already replied, and so I have to wait on some stuff. They got to do their investigation and see what's going on and why this is happening. So I got to wait for them to get back to me, and the best I have to. So I had to analyze the mistake. Okay, this is what happened. I had to find the shortest path to correcting it, which is we need a new property. We need to go back to the original property to make this happen. Okay, and then we executed it. I got the property back under contract, and we're going to close on it. And yes, an issue popped up, so now I got to deal with this issue. But it's a matter of just dealing with each issue as it happens. Your life without issues does not. You're not living. You're just not living. Your issues are what teaches you how to deal with your life. And what I have found is that my issues, my objections, or the walls that are built up for me to go through in order to do what I do, and you guys know I do a lot. They're there so that I grow, so I continue growing, so I continue learning. This festival, like I said, is the largest project I've ever done. There's 3 of them for the year that we designed for the property, but the Mother of the Earth Peace and Love Festival is the flagship festival. We're expecting almost 1 million people. So, I had to hire people that really know what they're doing and have done this and done this on the level of success that I would like, and keep those people around me. I had to upgrade the level of artists, of stages, of everything. So I'm way outside of my element, and I have a lot to deal with, and I can't let one small mistake, and it is a small one. That's a small mistake that costs me $300,000, and your mistakes are always going to cost you. That's the way you learn. In the Bible, I guess I'll use that as an example. It says that God writes his lessons in blood, meaning that it's written so deep and it's so painful and it hurts so much that you really understand that mistake and you try not to do it again. You slow down in some areas. So that's the pain of it. The $300,000 was really my budget for the property, and so now I'm outside of my budget. I'm spending another $300,000 that I got to find a whole new group of investors to work with me on. And yeah, it'll all pay off. The business plan is solid, the festival plan is solid, the Dreamweaver Foundation is solid, but getting to the point of payday is going to be a struggle, because I let my team make a mistake that was almost detrimental, and that's where it gets really dangerous, is when you don't recognize the mistake, and by the time you recognize it, it has destroyed your business. It has destroyed. You got to get in the habit of seeing these mistakes early. The minute you see them, start on that, analyzing the mistake, setting up a plan of action, and executing it right away, because it can't have long-lasting detrimental effects on your life, especially for those people who have that guilt complex. So I'm not easy to guilt into something, but when you hold on to something that you are seriously just slowly committing emotional suicide is what I'll call it. And you're holding yourself back from ever being able to put your chest out again and overcome whatever it was. So in my case, it's mainly a financial situation. I can't sit there and harp on that so much like my business partner is doing, to the point where I'm just sitting there worrying about that, and I can't figure out a different way so that I can go on and do what I do, you know, make this money, pay back the investors, and start getting out in the community and changing lives with the festival funds. So I wouldn't be able to stick my chest out if I just sat here and got stuck. That's one problem. So anyway, I'm 1 minute and 13 seconds over. So by the time I say goodbye, I'll probably be 2 minutes over. But I just wanted to get on real quick and talk about that, and just give you guys a real life experience, as I try to always do. I try to always tell you just what's going on in my life, and how it you should look at it and see how it affects your life, and how, you know, whatever I'm going through, hopefully keeps you from making the same mistakes I make. And although they're good for you, they hurt. They hurt, and I don't want you to hurt. So anyway, you know, this Lindell Spirit, Sexy Go Rose, love sexy, love God, love life, love sexy. And I gotta give you guys one too, love sign. And you know, I'm really looking forward to the Mother of Earth Peace and Love Festival. It's going to be dynamic, and we are going to have so much time to sit and talk there, because I'm going to be available. I think all the artists are going to, for the most part, kind of be available to the public in certain areas. So I'm really looking forward to it. Check us out on Facebook, of course, our YouTube. I need more subscribers. Y'all, Facebook, subscribe to YouTube. YouTube, subscribe to my Facebook. Let's get this cracking. Anyway, a wonderful day. I will post that radio interview, and you know, let you guys check that out. It's a little bit more street than this conversation was. So those of you that are street speaking sensitive, you might not want to listen to this radio show. But for the rest of you, there actually is some really great information in there. And I mean, you got like 3 top producers in there talking, and you know, we all just was having a good time talking about music and different styles of music and artists and things like that. So, you know, be sure to check it out. I'm gonna get out your hair. You know, you guys have a great day, and you know, it's Friday. I know some of you guys are happy. I mean, for me, every day's Monday and every day's Friday. So, you know, for me, it doesn't matter what day it is. It's the same. I just keep doing it. For some of y'all, you know, it's the weekend. For some of y'all, it's the start of the week. Whatever it is, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You know, no matter what you're doing, enjoy it, and just have a great day today. You know, and smile as much as you can. All right, you guys have a good one. Ciao, Facebook. My YouTubers. It's a pleasure. Ciao. Oops, I can't touch the screen on that.